So a client reached out wondering if I could do alterations on this style of dress. I said, well, it depends. What exactly do you need? She said it was a tad bit too small. I said, I was like, I'll have to see the dress in person to see if it's something that I can work on. So schedule an appointment and then we can go from there. So she went ahead, scheduled that appointment, and they came in. So they come in for the appointment. It was her and her mom, and the dress from the front, absolutely gorgeous. This was by a Nigerian designer. This was a custom made gown. And I always say they do exceptional work. Well, some of them do exceptional work, just amazing details on the dress, but tad bit too small was an understatement. This is the back of the dress. She could barely even get into the dress, and she couldn't even zip the dress. So she wanted to find out if I could do something about the dress to make the dress fit. Don't mind that piece of fabric. That's actually her t-shirt that I had covered up in the back because I didn't want her showing anything else other than that piece of t-shirt. So I took a look at the dress and just how it was made, and that was pretty much the reason why I had her come in, because most of the times I can barely tell from a picture. To find out if I can actually do alterations, I have to look at the dress, how it's made, inspect the dress to see if it's something that I could do. Fortunately, with this dress, they did leave a significant amount of seam allowance, which they usually do, thank goodness, but that wasn't the only thing that I had to work around. How was I going to deal with the beading? So after looking at the dress, I was like, okay, let's try and let out the seams, see if that will help, and then we can go from there. On top of letting out the seams, there was pieces of the fabric. As you can see, that part was coming off. The dress was finished great, but it was just these small details that just needed to be finished off and cleaned up a little bit. So I was going to do that as well. These dresses, gorgeous. I love how this one, as compared to the other one, this one is better constructed with these gravity defying things, and it has hip padding, because why? It has like 2 layers of hip padding. It's wild. And that is the dress. I'll just see about letting it out and then see if she can get in. So this is inside the dress. You can see how much seam allowance has been left, about 4 inches. So I'll let out using my seam ripper as much as I can, and then sew it back in, and we'll go from there. So I went to work, and I have some pliers there because I needed to break the beading. So a lot of alterations really isn't just sewing. It's a lot of problem solving and trying to figure out how you're going to work around all of these things. So I spent quite some time trying to break off the beading, and I was breaking off the beading because the new place that I was going to be sewing had beading all through that, and it wasn't just a matter of me lifting off the beaded lace fabric because it was sewn on or glued on or something, because if it wasn't, I would have taken it off, found the easiest way to work with this. But this was what I had to do, and I had to wear some safety glasses so that the beading that cracked wouldn't go in my eyes. So, oh my gosh, this is risky business. So I went ahead, did that, removed the padding that was there, let out the dress, and had my client come in for another fitting. So my client came in for her fitting, and yay, she finally fit. Now, I will say this was actually her second fitting. So the first fitting, we were almost there. There was just a little bit of space left for her to zip up. And remember the padding that was inside the dress? So I only removed one side, because the other side, if you can see all that, I don't even know what you call that stuff. Wait, I'll show you. This stuff. I don't know what you call this stuff, but it was sewn onto the dress and sewn onto the padding on that side. And so I initially left that padding there and just removed the one on the other side of the dress. It helped out a bit, but all of the padding needed to be removed because I'm not sure why they added that. She did have like a nice shape, so those exaggerated hips did not make sense, especially that this was a custom made dress. So removed hip padding on both sides, and the dress finally fit. This was for prom, and my client shared a few pictures of her in her prom dress. She looked absolutely beautiful in the dress. So glad that it worked out. She looked absolutely beautiful. Before and after, how did I do?